In the Philippines, the flame of love has taken off like a shot, as you might imagine. Just wonderful, wonderful reception. In fact, here you see many of our team. We were invited to present at the Exorcists Conference. And exorcism is a very big deal in the Philippines. They have a large problem with the occult. Despite being a very Catholic country, you can imagine where God is active, the evil one is active too. And in fact, they were invited to this play, and they were so impressed that they actually had a chance to speak for 15 minutes at the Exorcist Conference. This is an Exorcist Conference with 450 exorcists, priests, and bishops. And then after that, asked to have a table at the priest conference with 3,000 priests. So the Philippines is in the enviable position of having the problem that they've been invited to come bring the flame of love to so many dioceses. They don't know where they're going to find the people, the time, and the money to visit all of these dioceses. But in the Philippines, we also see something else that helps us understand what the flame of love is. Now, a lot of times we cover that today. Perhaps the elderly people have here in Wisconsin will cover this more. But one of the things we've been addressing in the flame of love is to get back to what our Blessed Mother was doing with Elizabeth and focus on what the flame of love is. This great miracle, this gift our Blessed Mother wants to give us. The prayer sentences, which are powerful and important, are not the flame of love. They're the tool. They're not the goal. They're the match. They're not the fire. The prayers themselves are not the flame of love. They're the match that lights the fire. The flame of love is this gift, miraculous gift of love that our Blessed Mother wants to put in all hearts. Those filled with hatred, those whose lamps have gone out, those who have no lamps, us who we ever love truth. And this became very apparent in the Philippines. In the Philippines, Archbishop Palma of Cebu is a very strong supporter of the flame of love. But he had some misinformation that in the English-speaking world, when the United States started, we didn't have a lot of guidance. And I believe we were providentially guided. I think the team here in the English-speaking United States was amazing in that we read the diary and we got just about everything right. The one thing we didn't get right was our explanation of the flame of love, Hail Mary. And we began to explain it as a change to the flame, to the Hail Mary. And we went to show how it has changed throughout history, and indeed the Hail Mary has changed throughout history. But that's not what the official documents of the movement say. When the flame of love was evaluated for cardinal error, the Mariologist was very clear that the flame of love, Hail Mary, is not a change to the Hail Mary, or an addition to it, or a variant. It's its own prayer based upon the Hail Mary. This is what the documents say, that grace is so important that our Blessed Mother took a prayer we all know, and to it added this plea for grace that we need right now to create a new prayer. Not a changed prayer, but a new prayer. Even our Blessed Mother says in the diary, if you recall, I don't want to change the prayer of which you honor me. So Archbishop Palma had the information that we were changing the Hail Mary. And he even said, I can't approve that officially in the diocese. The Vatican would have to do that. And so in the Philippines, because of this misinformation, they are not allowed to pray publicly the flame of love, Hail Mary. And the movement first thought, oh no, this is terrible. And we realized, no, this is not terrible. This is an illustration of a couple of very important principles. Number one, we are always obedient. We are always obedient. In fact, we've had problems with the flame of love. Some leaders of the flame of love have become a little, let's fill with the flame of love that we'd like them to be, and have become disobedient to their bishops to do their own thing. No. The bishop says, do this, we do this. And we are obedient to our bishops. And at the same time, it also highlights that even though they cannot pray this publicly, they can do it privately, but when there's a public event, they pray the regular Hail Mary, and they add a petition at the end of the day. That's fine. It's not exactly what our Blessed Mother asked, but it doesn't mean they're not doing the flame of love. They don't have the flame of love, they're not passing the flame of love, because it's not defined by the prayers. It's defined by the miracle our Blessed Mother works in hearts. So it was a very good illustration, even though it's not the way I would have liked to have seen it. Again, remain obedient, and the flame of love is not defined by the prayers. The flame of love is a miracle that our Blessed Mother works in hearts. In fact, hearts whose lamps have gone out don't have a lamp, they may not even know the prayers, may not even know it's the flame of love, but something's going to change inside them and draw them to our Lord. Let's remember that's what the flame of love is, the miracle of our Blessed Mother lighting these hearts to bring them to her Son. So this was an interesting lesson from the Philippines. Related to that is this. Remember that it's all about the miracle our Blessed Mother works. And I saw this very clearly in the recent trip to Africa. The group on at least my left, I'm not quite sure which way is showing up there, we'll see it's with the Archbishop of Goma. And the woman standing next to him is Sister Sullivan, a wonderful, wonderful pioneer of the flame of love in Africa. But in Congo, when I arrived, one of the challenges they've had is they have not had a lot of formation. I mean, Canada has been wonderfully supportive, thanks to Marcel sending materials, but there wasn't anyone to walk them through what the flame of love is. And in fact, they're in a unique position that they're trying to establish a religious community as well as an association of the faithful. And the bishop is very supportive. He said, but before we can do this, you need help with formation and to have formators to carry on the flame of love. What's interesting is even though they have not had a lot of the knowledge about what the flame of love is and all the technical details of the flame of love, they are witnesses to the miracle of what the flame of love does. You know, the Archbishop, his staff, his courier, all point to our people to the flame of love and say, these are the ones who make things happen in our parish. These are the ones who really live their Christianity. They may not have the knowledge. They've got the flame of love. They've got the miracle. And they show it. Same in Benin. This woman in Benin on the way to my right, Madame Bernadette, has known the flame of love for 30-something years. I believe she probably was one of those ones who came out of Switzerland in 1978 when they printed some of the early documents. And knew nothing about the flame of love except a couple of prayers, had received the flame of love, had no idea there was a flame of love movement, and yet has persisted with this miracle of the flame of love. She has an orphanage just like Sister Alveda. And again, the whole community looks at this woman and her group and says, these people are Christians. They know Christianity. Why? They don't have all the knowledge, but they have the miracle. They have the flame of love. So let's remember that. To remain that in humility. We have to be participants in the miracle. Papua New Guinea is an extraordinary story. Again, the flame of love, we're not talking about theory when we talk about putting out the fire of hatred, the fire of hell, the flame of love lighting hearts filled with hatred. The flame of love is relatively new to Papua New Guinea. As you can tell, a very, very poor place. You notice there are no chairs. They're just sitting on the floor. A very primitive place, by their own words. In this area, they only encountered Western civilization about 90 years ago. They had cannibalism and headhunting until the 1970s. And it's an area of great violence. Tribal warfare, tribal rivalry. You kill one of my tribe, I kill 5 to 10 of your tribe, and the cycle of this vengeance killing goes on and on. And this happened to Tibet, one of our women bringing the flame of love to Papua New Guinea. They killed her brother, they cut off his head, it was a tribal killing. And she had to bring the body back to her tribal homeland. And she knew the cycle of violence that this would set off. It's also a very paternal society, so women have no voice. She's bringing the body back. She knows what's going to happen. She's praying the flame of love. She's asking that this flame of love put out the fire of hatred. She comes to the village, and all the men are dressed as you might imagine, just like you see on National Geographic, dressed in the blood paint, machetes, bush knives, ready to go kill 5 to 10. The neighboring tribe burned down their village. And miraculously, they let a woman speak. And she asks for reconciliation and forgiveness. And more miraculously, they listened. They put down the bush knives, and they put down the machetes, and for the first time in the history of this region, they called on the government mediators to mediate the dispute, make a financial settlement, and stop the cycle of violence. But it doesn't stop there. You know, the youth have a huge problem with drug abuse, alcohol abuse. They make it themselves, and they call it steam. All the despair, all the poverty. And they get drunk and high and they start cutting each other up, and the tribes start fighting again. And so they're praying this chapel you see here. They're praying the flame of love. They hear the commotion outside. And one tribe is being cut up. They run to the chapel. And they locked the door behind him. The other tribe is outside saying, bring him out. We want to kill him. This is life in Papua New Guinea. And they're praying again to put out the fire of hatred. And once again, put down the bush knives, put down the machetes, and they reconcile. Doesn't stop there. 2 weeks later, I get an email from Betty saying, all the youth who were creating all this steam, this drug and alcohol in the community, brought all their equipment to the tribal elders and to the police and said, we renounce this. We're giving this up. We're going to go back to farming to meet our needs. This doesn't happen. This is the flame of love. This is what the flame of love is about. It's not just us praying together in prayer groups. That's great. That's wonderful. Don't stop. But the flame of love is to change the world. It's to stop Gaza. It's to stop Ukraine. It's to stop the tribal killings in Papua New Guinea. Here we see what the flame of love is. This is just a small part of the crowd in Uganda. We were invited to hear the Shrine for Peace. And by the time we were at the Vigil of the Assumption, there were thousands of people. If you picture this is a narrow thing, this went all around the seating. But something interesting happened in Uganda. That after we left here, we had a number of other trips. We came back to the St. Padre Pio Shrine, and again, we invited hundreds of people new to the Flame of Love to listen to it. And we spoke about it, and often when I speak about the flame of love is really simple to understand. I spend most of my time talking about what love and what grace is, because many don't understand love and grace. If we don't understand love and grace, we'll never understand the flame of love as the movement of grace. And afterwards, I was talking to this very holy humble priest, Father Michael. And he said, in Uganda we understand faith. When you read the story of Uganda martyrs, I was there at the shrine. What they did to us, man, was just mind-boggling. He said, in Uganda we understand faith, but we have yet to learn love. I think Rwanda, that's where we went next. Rwanda was a very faithful country, very Catholic country, and yet they killed millions of each other. And they knew faith, they didn't know love. And I don't think that's unique to Uganda. We see this a lot. Really, I didn't have a chance to talk about this a lot yesterday. You'll find some of these videos online where I talk about this more. We really need to understand love. Most of us as Catholics, as devout Catholics, are still living for self. And the little things that we do, the way we dress, the way we eat, the way we spend our money, the way we spend our time, most of our decisions are still made for self. We haven't learned the depth of love. This is what the flame of love is here to do. So he was ecstatic at the flame of love that come to Uganda, so they could learn how to love. Then we went to Cameroon, and here with a group in Cameroon, and we traveled so many miles in Cameroon. They spread out on both sides of the country. We spent more time driving than speaking. But I was speaking with the Bishop of Berkeley, and I asked him, what can the flame of love do for your diocese? And he said, teach us to pray. And then he really shocked me, because we were sitting with a bunch of priests, and he said, our priests don't know how to pray. What did I just step into here? And I thought that was interesting. I had just come from Quebec, where our Blessed Mother talked about the need to pray without hypocrisy, to pray well. And so I encourage us in our prayer, make sure we know how to pray. We don't recite our sentiments. It's a dialogue with our family. It's the family sitting on the table, coming together to talk. This is what our rosary is. This is what our sentiment is. Please let's not recite our prayers. We talked about, like he's in the next room. May God do this, may God do that, may God do the other. Why are you talking? Would you please do this, God? They're talking about in the second person. See what a difference it makes. We're going to blow through these really quickly because it's time right now. This is a picture of Poland. That's quite amazing, isn't it? Wow. That's the flame of love. And it highlights the importance of priests. This is in Uganda too, because the priests that we spoke to so many thousands of people. And in Poland we have very active priests who just speak to hundreds and hundreds and invite people in. Let's see if I can pause this a little bit. Oops, there's not. The last one I'll talk about is Kenya and the dedication of our leaders. In Kenya we have a man named Steve Otieno. Similar to Betty in Papua New Guinea, who lost the days to bring the flame of love to remote villages. Steve, we couldn't get him anything. We couldn't get him diaries, we couldn't get him cards, we couldn't get him anything. So this man gets on his motorbike and drives from village to village to village in rural Kenya to spread the flame of love. And he's very poor. I was in his house, had 2 tables and a couple of chairs. He just moved out of a mud house, which is literally a mud house. His motorbike now has bald tires. I was terrified while driving on it. And his headlight was broken. Very poor man. And yet he still drives all over Kenya to bring the flame of love. The video I'm about to show you is about 2 years old. This was after just 1 year of going village to village. Now it's much, much larger in Kenya. And I speak to someone about Senecals, making sure that the Senecals don't become too rigid. We have to adapt the culture. You might notice that they do adoration a little different than we do adoration. We're going to do adoration here, right? So hopefully we won't give the deacons a heart attack when I show you adoration from the flame of love in Kenya, from one man driving from village to village, spreading the flame of love. Couple of people, huh? So I don't feel ready to do that in the next couple of minutes. I'll stop that here just for the sake of time. But our leaders are amazing, what they're willing to do. One of my most important jobs as the international coordinator is to help our leaders not burn out, because they try to do so much. But you know, when we talk about leaders in the flame of love, it's not just people like myself and Lori and Jill and Marcel. We're not the miracle. We're part of the miracle. When we have leaders conferences, we say leaders are anyone who has a heart to spread the flame of love. I started here. The worldwide growth is not about the movement. It's about the miracle. That miracle happens in the highlands of Kenya. It happens in the jungles of Papua New Guinea. It happens in the jungles of New York City. And it happens here. You are our mother's miracle. Please be our mother's miracle. Hear her voice every morning when we get up. Help me save the country. And we do it by a miracle that's distributed around the world. That's 1 billion acts of little acts of holiness and love every moment of our life. Do whatever he says in every moment. And you will be our mother's miracle that changes.